Hey guys, Kieran here. Just before we start this episode, quick warning. This is a party profile on a garbage, horrible, terrifying party. So this is a warning, a content warning beforehand if you are sensitive to stuff around sexual assault, rape, and pedophilia. This is not going to be a good episode for you, fam. Sorry, hit us up next week when we talk about, like, German people who are insane enough to support Mayor Pete. That's probably a better topic, right? There can't be any rape involved in that.
Hey, welcome to your weekly corner Späti. I'm Nick, joined by Kieran and Rob this week.
What's up?
And Yulia is not with us today.
No, she's at home watching all three
Lethal Weapons.
all three German dubs of Beverly Hills Cop, so she should be with us in about 10 minutes.
But we are moving northwards.
Yes.
Today.
Yes.
Talking about
To the North Pole!
I don't know if everyone saw that, but Rob just turned briefly into one of the horrifying CGI characters from Polar Express, where the eyes were dead. It was kind of terrifying.
Yeah, they're kind of hot.
Yeah, we're going to the home of the second wave of black metal, the home of the cheese slicer,
Yes.
the home of
The pedophilia and sexual assault party.
the Progress Party,
The home of struggle.
the home of struggle.
Yes.
Yeah. Wait, is he Norwegian?
Yeah.
Knausgaard's Norwegian? I thought he was Swedish.
No, he's not.
Oh, okay, yeah, the home of Knausgaard. It's Norway.
Yeah.
Come on down.
Come on down to our land of oil wealth just for miles. I constantly made the reference that, like, you know, they're green initiatives, but selling, like, they have all these green initiatives in Norway, but they make it by selling all the oil, which always reminds me of the nation equivalent of, like, a drug dealer doesn't get high on its own supply. Like,
Norway really took to heart the 10 crack commandments.
You know, every St. Patrick's Day, you know, in Chicago, they dye the river green.
Yeah.
They dye like a whole oil tanker's worth of oil green. Ship it out. And be like, you're welcome.
On Norway Day, they just do a controlled oil spill in Oslo.
like a 21 gun salute. Fire! Just spraying oil.
Just oil fire.
I remember I used to always see an ad. I think I mentioned this on the show before. I used to always see an ad very briefly on YouTube that was like, come to Oslo. It's the greenest place in Europe. And I'm like, your entire country is made on oil. Like, is it really that green?
Have you guys ever been to Norway?
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I
Of
haven't.
course.
I went to the cheese slicer museum. I broke down and cried.
It's a beautiful country. I was in those fjords.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna be. That reminds me also too. Like there was that Vice documentary of Gall, the singer of Gogoroth,
Yeah.
and there was just like a scene. It's one of those. I don't know how. He's a weird person just in general, but then he like takes this hipster, you know, Vice documentary guys like, we're gonna go into the forest now and find my grandfather's house, and they literally walk like the entire day to the top of a mountain, like in the middle of like, I don't know, like knee-high snow.
Yeah.
And
I love when you encounter people who have like a wholly different concept of distance than you do.
and he if no one, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen this because it was like when like Vice was just doing like super edgy documentary stuff, like early 2000s, like mid 2000s or whatever. And one of those was like the craziest guy in Norwegian black metal, and then it's this like 4-part dark documentary series. That is all I know about Norway. It stops there at black metal and oil, which are maybe one and the same thing.
I know
black from oil.
I know a lot about Norway because I'm writing a script. Got green-lighted because of the success of Midsummer to write the Norwegian Midsummer.
Oh, sick.
So you know they're like environmental engineers, of course, living in the U.S. and they fly to. He's like, you know, let's go to the home of. I'm going to study the green economy of Norway. And like, I was going to study the green economy of Norway. Then I'll go to Norway. And it's supposed to end in a weird cult horror thing, but they're just walking around the forest being like, now we're going to go to this cabin. And then they spend a day walking there. And they also take mushrooms and get confused, but then they wake up and, you know, they avoid it because they're just walking around in the fjords. and they never get to the place where they're all going to be sacrificed.
So it's the Vice documentary. The thing that you want to make already exists.
Yeah, I bought the rights.
Oh, okay, cool.
Right. So getting us back on track, we're doing another party profile, but this time not on a party that's in Germany.
What was the last one that we did?
The last party profile that we did,
Finland, right? I mean, that didn't really count as a party.
No. We I think it's been a while.
It's Golden Dawn. Well,
Golden Dawn was the first one.
I feel a little bad about it because you're like, we're going to talk about this country. Just the worst people from it.
No, we're not. We never just talk about the country. We talk about the one party.
Yeah.
No, we're not. We don't do.
And we're doing that here too. I'm
here.
sure Norway has some nice people who aren't pedophiles, but So I might have given a bit of the game away. But anyone who didn't see when we did our left populism episode, Rob had a very good tweet that was pointing out that if we just pointed out all the ruling class were pedophiles, we might have gotten this thing off the ground.
That was a good queef.
Yeah, it was a good queef. I almost said queet. Could have breezed past that moment.
Brought it back.
Yeah, he did. So we're going to talk about this party that might be the embodiment of that sentiment. So, Progress Party. Don't let the name fool you. They're not.
They're making progress towards open pedophilia.
They're making progress towards their ends for sure.
I thought we were doing the green parties in a couple of weeks, though.
Well, yeah, we're doing that. Goddamn. All right. So, I'm going to do a little bit of history about where this party came from, which is going to be very easy because there's basically like only two figures involved in like the foundation of its party. First is the guy who founded the party.
How would you Norwegify Jeffrey Epstein? Never mind. Keep going.
That's homework.
Yeah.
Submit it
so
by tomorrow.
Tweet at us. What is the Norwegian name for Jeffrey Epstein? I think it's like Jof. Jof. All right. So this party was founded by Anders Lange. Anders Lange originally called it the Anders Lange Party, which is
all right,
solid. Nice. He was inspired politically by living in Argentina in the 1920s. Oh, no. Yeah, right. All great sounds. When he returned,
wait, how old is he? When was he born?
Oh, he was quite young then, but like he founds the party in the 70s at his old age.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, okay. So, going into give you a little bit of background of this guy, when he returned from Argentina in 1929, he joined the anti-communist organization, the Fatherland League, which is great because
didn't they just like get dissolved into the Norwegian Nazi Party?
So this is the interesting thing about them. There's not a lot known about the internal affairs of the Fatherland League because as soon as the Nazis took over in Norway in the Quisling regime, they just burnt all their internal records.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what we do know about them is that they were an anti-communist organization, and surprise, surprise, a lot of them were like pro-fascist members, being like, there was like several attempts before the Nazis came to Germany to do like a Hitler or Mussolini thing in Norway first by these guys. Anders might have been a member of the party who was against that. The history is kind of unclear, but he definitely was opposed to the Nazi regime, which I'll get to later, but it's unclear whether he wanted to just do the fascism himself.
It's like that weird like Austro-fascism thing that like what's his name always uses as his defense or used.
Hayek. Was Hayek did it or?
It was von Mises.
Von Mises,
I think, who was literally the like economic, the finance minister of Austro-fascist Adolphus. What was his last name?
Engelbert Dollfuss.
Engelbert, yeah. That's his last name was Dollfuss.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Yo, but I don't fuck with that Nazi shit. But that Austro-fascism, that's my cup of tea." So yeah, go on.
Yeah. So like,
I'd love to be like the Goldilocks of fascism.
Yeah.
just sampling, my various options. Like the Ukrainians, no, not quite.
Why is that always a theme though? They're all like they really like damn, those fucking Nazis, like they're the real cucks over there. Like me, I'm a metaxas. Like.
Well, like
I'm that pure shit. I'm the fucking freebase of fascism over here.
Because basically the Fatherland League was kind of like doing that, but the Quisling regime, which is the Nazi occupation, they banned the Fatherland League as soon as they like came into power, and that's when like all the records were burnt. But but a lot of people who were in the Fatherland League was like, all right, I guess this is just the new shit, and we're just doing this. But Anders Lange wasn't one of them. But his kind of history on this is confusing, and I'll give you like 2 pieces of history about him that kind of like make him a kind of weird, conflicting character. So he was kind of like a letters to the editor kind of guy. He wrote to Hitler. My
dearest Adolf.
No. He wrote to Hitler, right? Basically with the like, hey, I think you're going to invade our country. Are you going to do that? Like before they did this. And to which he got a canned response from the Nazi party being like, the Nazi Reich has no limit. And he was like, right, okay, they're coming. And with that information,
that was the 1930s, 1940s equivalent of "Don't test me, bro."
It was so much easier back in the day. You could just call Hitler's radio show and be like, when you come into tour, to Norway. Yeah. Now, well, like
there's all in the Instagram comments. It's just like Brazil, come to Brazil.
But he also sent letters to like the King of Norway and Winston Churchill. I don't know if he got responses to either of those. Basically asking the same question.
The Churchill one was like, are you going to be at the pedophile party? Like, I could really use a ride.
Yeah. At this point, he's a young man. I don't think he's been invited to the pedophile parties yet.
To be very fair, though, on a little slide note about World War II Norway, that was one of the very cool things that the newest Battlefield did, is that you could play in Norway as like I think she was Sammy or something or whatever.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
they did like a really interesting, like in the campaign, they did like a really interesting take that you played with like a 14-year-old girl, and you were fighting against the Nazis. It was pretty rad.
That's cool.
Too bad the campaigns of the rest of those games are then like your last level you just play as a Nazi.
Yeah. Like, a Nazi 14-year-old girl. Okay, but here's the confusing thing. When he got this letter back from Hitler, he was like, cool, they're coming. And he bought 100 airline tickets from Oslo to the US and then handed it out to all the Jewish people he knew. None of them took the tickets. But
which, fair. Someone's like, go, take this. I bought you a flight. Who the fuck are you?
Hey, Jewish person, get out of my country. But in a good way. No, it's weird. But then at the same time, relatively new history came out. It's like secondhand sources about people who attended him giving speeches at the Fatherland League, where he, quote, spoke fiercely against the Jewish invasion and the colored races. So, yeah, it sounds probably more on track, right? Anyway, during the occupation, he did try to join the resistance, and they didn't let him in because he was a part of the Fatherland League. But he did still assist them, but not become an official member. He got arrested and imprisoned twice for, I think, literally starting shit with Nazi officials in cafes. It was very privileged Norwegian man resistance, just taking off a dueling glove and.
Yeah, I think he was more so the term would be backseat fascism. You need to do it this way.
I saw a Sami person the other day. You're not doing it fast enough. But then, after World War II, he kind of becomes a bit of a celebrity in Norwegian, reestablished democratic politics.
I'm not surprised. He has a certain, he seems like he has some strange, he's like a performance artist a little bit. Because, he knows how to get attention.
But basically every party, a lot of them still exist today, like the Conservatives and the Labour Party, all asked him to join and become a member of Parliament because he's got some resistance cred.
He's like Kanye. Everyone's like, Kanye, join us.
1 year a man does the Pornhub Awards, and then the next year he's
Turning Point Norsk.
Yeah.
Right, but then he refuses all this, steps down for politics. He becomes a person who owns a kennel and breeds dogs, and starts writing papers on dog ownership that, what I found very interesting, later in his life become increasingly political somehow. I really want to read these dog ownership papers that start going into political screeds.
I'm just imagining it just being eugenics, like.
But it's dog breeding, but then like every like.
How many? I don't know anything about dog breeding.
Yeah.
Aren't like big kennels bad?
Yeah.
So how many dogs? Like, if that's his job, how many dogs is he breeding here?
Oh, you can do if it's like if it's a breed of dog that's like worth something. You only have to do a few a year or something.
Yeah, you get a lot of money.
Yeah.
Anyway, towards in the 70s, as an older man, he founds a party just called the Anders Langer Party, and at this point we get to know a lot more of his politics. Big fan of Ayn Rand.
Nice.
Wrote extensively on how South Africa and Rhodesia are great.
Double nice.
He believed their forms of government could protect against the spread of communism. He visited and he and his party allegedly received money from the South African government. This is pre-apartheid, like end of apartheid. He's quoted as saying, "No vote rights for N-word, stopped mixed marriages, no humanitarian aid for blacks." So that's the founder of the party.
Wow.
Yeah. A year after founding the party, he dies. There's like a brief scramble for leadership, but they're all kind of like cucks. But then steps in a guy who basically rules the party for ages, 1978 to 2006.
Wait, he was head of the party for like 40 years?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It's very easy to do the history of the party. It's just two people.
Oh my God.
Carl Iver Hagen is his name. He looks like a potato.
Don't tell him that. He'll get offended. We don't want that.
That's actually a compliment in Norway.
Yeah.
It's a little cultural confusion.
He kind of looks like what I imagine putting a tuft of white hair on the brown cheese that
you
would
like say like, "What's up, my potato?" looking fried today.
But he was for this entire year he was like supreme unchallenged leader. And he transforms the party from what was like actually like I think the only instance of like American style libertarianism, like this side of the Atlantic, like very anti-tax like party, into more of a what everyone would call like right-wing populist type of shit.
And it fucking pisses me off when libertarians are like, "Look at Norway." I'm like, "Norway's not libertarian. Stop saying that."
All right. He was a failed engineer and conservative youth member with Labour voting parents, which he brings up a lot.
So wait, so I'm assuming the Conservative Party is very old?
Yes.
Okay. Then
They're traditional centre-right.
All right.
Yeah. After Langer...
What are his thoughts on Rhodesia?
I think he wisely stayed away from that topic.
Yeah. Is this around the time when the South African Secret Service killed Olaf Palme, or is it still before that? No, we're still before that.
It's still before that. Yeah. So after Langer died of a heart attack, the previous guy, Hagen made his own party called the Reform Party. But after two unsuccessful attempts to lead the ALP, the Anders Langer Party, he merged ALP with his new Reform Party and called it the Progress Party in 1978. He maintained the anti-tax aspect of the party by campaigning on calling everything to do with taxes socialism, which I feel is like a classic,
that is
classic American.
Nice.
Yeah.
On brand.
I like his style. Keep going.
Yeah. And in 1986 called a motion of no confidence after the Conservative government petrol tax increase. So again. But this is when he starts to kind of change the party. He introduces strong anti-immigration and Islamophobia to the party. In the 1987 local election, he read aloud the infamous Mustafa letter during a party conference. The letter was a plan by a Muslim immigrant in Norway to conquer and Islamify the country. The letter...
Wait, just one guy?
Yeah, one guy. Muhammad Mustafa. The letter was then proven false because, of course, it was.
Shocking.
This is the funnier version of the Elders of Zion.
Yeah. Yeah. But also, the fact that someone who was planning to do this wrote the letter to the leader of this party being like, "Come at me, bro. I'm going to do it."
Bro, if this Facebook static gets one like, I'm gonna
Norway's Muslim now.
I'm fucking spreading Sharia law. Say no more, fam.
That's what I'm saying. The tactics have changed. Like that, I understand as modern tactics. You're like, whatever, false flag or something. Like, oh, we got to do this. Whereas in the past, like the other guy, Lange, when he was writing to Hitler, like he would have been like, oh, Hitler, look, there's this sad Norwegian who was, beat up by Jewish people. Won't you come save them? Or you have to intervene.
The U.S. literally does that
exactly.
shit. Though. Yeah.
That's the modern style. That's what I was expecting. But he was just like, you coming, right? You coming over? Like, we still on for tonight?
What is it like if Lange wrote a letter to Hitler being like, look, I'm here in Norway. I'm going to Norwegify Germany.
Second question.
Yeah.
The original guy, Lange, he was a nationalist, xenophobic, I assume.
Yeah.
So did...
Just nothing on Muslims, though.
Okay.
Different era. He was all about the blacks and Jews.
I'm just imagining now that Twitter account that appeared and then disappeared very quickly of the woman who was like, my son got beat up for being a MAGA kid. Like, we need to do something about this. But, it was one of those ones that was like, Shirley 475778812. And then she just kept retweeting the exact same thing over and over and over and over and over again.
I really liked the parody tweet that I saw of that because I saw the parody before I saw the original, which was like, my son just got beat up for wearing a MAGA hat and I'll do it again. All right.
Oh, I love those accounts.
Mustafa letter. So the letter was proven to be false, but they did that really well. But they did really well in that election. They proved it was false after the election happened. They then took and ran with this and took a bunch of other anti-immigration positions that led to the successful 1989 general election in Norway, where they become the third largest party. With the exception of one election since then in 1993, which I'll get onto in a bit later, they've been either the third or second largest party in Norway.
Damn. So just like that.
Yep.
I mean, they went from nothing. They weren't in parliament or anything.
No, they were in parliament, but they were like.
Oh yeah, he voted. You're right. He voted against the.
Yeah,
I forgot the text. Huh.
But sixth largest party.
This country wakes up one day, or whatever, 20% of the country, and
guess I'll pull racism.
Yeah.
I don't want this Mustafa guy putting Durna shops everywhere.
Do you get the Mustafa letter?
Guess mine was lost in the mail. I think I'm worthy of being killed. I'm white. I could be white genocided.
I'm just gonna call him up and make sure he has my address.
It's you have to put a line through the O. Otherwise it won't.
Yeah,
get
yeah. This is us, not us.
This is Us, the most popular TV show on Norwegian TV. Everyone's posting about it. This is Us.
Oh, God damn it. They adopt Mustafa. It's two twins and they adopt Mustafa. Mustafa, stop sending letters to the leader of the Progress Party. All right. So, after this point, he's made several comparisons to the Muslim world with Nazi Germany, both in speeches and a book he wrote called, Untitled Memoir.
Mein Kampf.
It's his memoirs, but yeah, I think effectively. He also introduced what was relatively new, but an anti-media strain to the party, constantly claiming that the state-owned media was in favor of the Labour Party, and they never got a fair shake or whatever, as they screamed from a TV show. He further consolidated power after poor performance in the 1993 general election, where the libertarian wing of the party, which still exists, tried to wrestle control the true heads tried to wrestle control of the party back from him. They eventually lost, and they tried to attempt to make their own party, which didn't work. And the party then refocused on immigration being their big thing and went on to be the second biggest party in the 1997 election. This is called, I think I have to find that name again. It'll come up later, but they have a word for this, which is a combination of the hotel in which it happened in, plus the Norwegian verb for stabbing in the back. So it's like the Folksjord or something like that event. It's very strange. Anyway,
it's actually the 2000s Chingy song Holiday Inn.
But anyway, he then steps down as leader in 2006. He took a job in a consultancy firm, then left it in 2010 to become mayor of Oslo, dropping out 3 days before the election was done when the polling kept coming back of being absolutely fucking dismal. And he's had a public spat with the current leader, Siv Jensen, over not being nominated to represent the Progress Party in the Norwegian Nobel Committee. This is when he resigned completely from the party and entered more of a pundit, like talking head space in Norwegian politics.
Wait, they got Nobel, like the Nobel Prize? I thought that was Swedish.
No, the Nobel Prize is Norwegian, and the committee is made up of like Norwegian party representatives.
Oh.
Yeah, so you have to, as a party in the like, what is it called, Stortinget parliament, you have to like send someone to be like, you get to pick the Peace Prize people.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, right. Are you happy to know that this party has like a fourth say in what happens to these people? Yeah, they have 26 seats currently in the Stortinget, the parliament, making them the third largest party currently. The reason I'm going to talk about them is that they've effectively broken a four-party coalition that they were in. They left recently because the Conservative Party repatriatized a woman who left to fight in the Middle East, possibly ISIS. But like the current prime minister let her back into the country, and they were like, "We're not having this," and left.
She fought with ISIS or fought against ISIS?
They basically can't. They don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like for a Progress Party, that's as good as they fought for ISIS. Like, so yeah.
Yeah, I guess you kind of fucked either way. Oh, I joined the YPG. Well, you're a fucking communist then. Well,
That's the history of the party.
Quick question. I'm not expecting, magical answers here. But what happened in 1989? Like, what happened in Norway's what was the economic booms?
Actually, this might come up.
Okay. Then, sorry. Cut that.
No. I can explain it now, but you'll get hints of it later. But Norway, I think, was destination numero uno for people who were kicked out of Iran after the Islamic Revolution. They got there's a lot of Iranian Norwegians, and they're all basically friends of the Shah. And that was kind of back then viewed as this Islamic threat or whatever, even though actually a lot of them go on to be massive supporters of the Progress Party in the modern day.
I was going to say, because in the U.S. you have a lot of those people who come, they live in like L.A., a lot of them too. Like, they're extremely reactionary.
So... yeah. All right. Some general points about this party. I want to kind of restate that while this has all the trappings of like a weird fringe party, basically based on like all the fucking gaffes and foibles they do and all the weird mistakes they make, this is a major party. They've been in coalition since 2013. They've gotten a lot of stuff done. They've reduced pensions. They've done like 2.5 billion in tax cuts, favoring the wealthy, and 100% abolished inheritance tax. So that's, yeah.
Thank God that they're looking out for the little guy.
There's no inheritance tax in Norway anymore, thanks to them.
Oh, none at all?
None. For a super wealthy country.
Interesting.
A lot of dynasties coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look out.
Look out. The party has so much drama and political scandals that they now have an official political scandals spokesperson. Currently, a woman called Ketil Solvik-Olsen. As second deputy leader, but the position is basically known both within and without the party as being the political scandal spokesperson. Upon accepting this position, she told the party at the conference to behave. Yep. Yep, go on.
Well, just like what counts as a scandal for them? Because what does behave mean?
You'll see.
All right.
Actually, I can give you a taste of one now. Because most of what I've organized I've organized it around characters. There's a handful of people within this party that have just keep coming up and again doing dumb shit.
Okay, what's the Norwegian version of like moo means?
Oh, shit. What has Norway contributed to media?
Black metal.
Not nearly as adorable as movie.
No, it's a bunch of vogues. Yeah, what have they done? I think they just did oil and they were like, this is it. This and fishing. This is fine.
There's some authors, I think, other than
Knausgaard.
There's some more. Like poets.
You looked that up there, but Yeah, we need our analog. Don't worry, we've got plenty to go. We have time to think of this. I keep wanting to say Angry Birds, but that's Finland. That's Finland again. All right. So here's a taste of one of their scandals. This person only had like this one scandal, so I'm going to get them out of the way now. A parliament member of the FRP, or Progress Party, went on a trip with 3 other politicians from the same party and bought sex in Riga. Journalists, however, this was a scandal because it's illegal for Norwegians to even internationally buy sex, solicit prostitutes. But interestingly enough, journalists kept talking about how he paid too much. He basically got ripped off in Riga for because how they figured this out was he went into a room with a prostitute with these 3 friends, 3 other boys from the party, came out, and then the journalists just immediately rushed in after they'd left and interviewed the prostitute. And one of the things they said, one of the things was the 2 points they got out of her was of course we had sex, that's what I do, and the second point was I charged him way too much. Because he's from out of town.
What is the point of harping on? Is it like a hashtag Norwegian resistance? Do we want people in power who are getting ripped off by sex workers? Who else are they going to get ripped off by? I don't understand the.
Well, the thing was he did a crime and he wasn't punished for it, which will be a theme.
Okay.
Yeah.
So far, I find this run-of-the-mill politicians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is pretty G-rated.
Okay. All right. No,
we came in with high expectations.
Yeah, okay.
You told me they were like the pederasty party.
Yeah, no, I'm getting to that. All right. Deborah, they won't let me do Brexit, Deborah. Hi, it's me, Brexiteer Ray Romano. I'm just here talking to let you know that we're gonna bong a big bed, or whatever the British people say. I'm concerned about trade. Anyway, I just want to let you guys know when I'm not yelling at my MP, I'm listening to Corner Späti and supporting them with my obscene sitcom wealth via patreon.com/Corner Späti. Nigel Farage should be Prime Minister at United. Deborah! Other small scandals. The head of a youth branch in eastern Norway attended a couple of neo-Nazi marches regularly.
Yeah, it's a little juicier.
Yeah.
But this is still typical European shit.
Okay. Speaking of neo-Nazi marches, prominent fee-paying member and head of the West Oslo branch of the FPU, that's their youth wing, Anders Behring Breivik.
Oh,
I was just wondering about him.
The guy who killed a shit ton of people.
72 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, not a lot of people. Still, I think the biggest case of individual mass violence in Norway since probably the founder of this party and the Fatherland League. But yeah,
it's bigger than it was bigger than every even US shooting up until Las Vegas.
Yeah, I think so. It was a massive event. Yeah. But he was the head of the West Oslo branch of the youth wing.
Did he leave though and say they weren't with his shit enough?
So no.
Oh, okay.
He left, but they're the ones who said he left us because we are too liberal.
Oh.
He didn't really make any comments about why he left.
Okay.
Yeah.
He started going on that whole I don't know what his shit with politics was before that, but his whole thing was not only just the white genocide, but that the Crusades have to come back and shit like that, right?
Yeah. All right. With that, I think we can get into the contemporary characters.
Nice. Oh, wait, so these are older. Okay, yeah. Anders Breivik was over a decade ago.
Yeah. So now we got the contemporary idiots. So this it does kind of range from just monsters to dumb idiots. I've cushioned this. I've ended this with a particular idiot that I quite like. And there's also a strong Iranian connection in a lot of this as well.
It's the Ayatollah, isn't
it? Surprise, I was talking about the Ayatollah the whole time. Okay. First, we have Sylvie Listhaug, currently Minister for the Elderly, formerly Minister for Petroleum and Energy, Agriculture, Immigration, and Justice. I was just tossing her around, doing whatever the hell. Yeah. You may know her from being a very anti-immigrant politician who was like, I have to see what it's like, put on a giant orange inflatable dummy suit thing, and then jumped into the Mediterranean and flapped around for a bit until the Coast Guard like immediately saved her. And she was like, it's not that bad. Yeah. She got a lot of international attention for that. She immediately moved from a PR company before becoming Minister of the State. And there was this whole scandal about like release your client list. Turns out like her client list was like everyone she was lobbying for when she started as Minister of the State. She caused like a peasants' revolt by like basically denying all the farmers all the money they're meant to get.
All right, that's good to start revolution.
Good start. When she was immigration minister, a position specially made for her, she tightened asylum policy, like more language requirements, more self-sufficiency requirement, more years before residency was granted, all that good stuff for asylum seekers. She was then the one put in the giant orange flotation suit. I mentioned that. But one like weird social media thing was there was a New York Times article that was critical of her like regime. It was talking like her practices, talking about like a 7-year-old Afghani boy who like arrived in Norway who was being deported after living in Norway for 4 years back to Afghanistan. And it was like, this is terrible. How can this be happening in Norway? New York Times stuff. And she just shared it and be like and share if you agree.
I love that shit because that's always the like liberal view of like the American liberal view of the world is like, oh yeah, just look how wonderful Europe is, and they're just like that. The one that then really comes to my mind also is kind of similar in vein is the Hungarian journalist who's like tripped a refugee.
Yeah,
that was wild. And when you like tell like an American lib about it, they're like, oh, like how is that possible? Europe's understanding is like it's Hungary, like they're on one and they've been on one.
This was the weird thing that kind of like brought her to her end. When she was Minister for Justice, she kind of like ran her mouth on Facebook saying the Labour Party cares more about terrorists than national security, and then didn't attempt to apologize, or she did one of those like sorry you were offended half apologies that then eventually withdrew from the Minister of Justice on the same day she was about to be voted out anyway. Because she pissed off the Christian Democrats by saying the Christian Democrats lick imams' backs at night, which I think might be a Norwegian phrase.
Huh. Lick a man's back?
No,
like I think the imam. Yeah, I think the image is like from the bottom of the spine all the way
going.
Up.
That's how much you like them.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, she's Hagen's favorite to replace as the next leader of the party.
Oh, cool.
The guy who was like running the party for like 40 years.
But is he still running the party?
No, he's out. He's like a talking head now.
Oh, but he's his. I see.
Yeah, but he's still talking. Yeah.
He's got the Hagen seal of approval.
Hagen seal of approval. Next, cast on our characters. Ulflerstein.
Okay. I'm going to look up, I encourage everyone listening to look up these people, because I didn't for the last woman.
You just want pictures?
I just want the pictures.
Oh, I can do that for you. I think it's important that we do actually look at Ulflerstein because of what he's involved with. So take a look at this man's face, and I want you to like think about that while...
He's got Paul Giamatti vibes in this one.
Yeah. I want you... Everyone can Google at home, but I want everyone
the fourth result, everyone.
Yeah. I want you two to think about that guy's face as I tell you what he did.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, he's the former leader of the youth wing, the FPU. This will be a trend. And former member of the Standing Committee on Justice. Just like repeatedly sending hardcore porn to members of the youth wing, including a 14-year-old boy, from his official Parliament email account. So just like ulf.lerstein at storting.no or whatever the fuck.
No comment, just a link.
Probably. I've heard it was like a PDF of porn, which is like the weirdest way I've ever heard of porn being exported.
Well, I mean, you're the one who prints out your fucking hentai.
I know, I should do it.
I mean, how do you export it to PDF first?
No, I just pin pinches, man. That's why they come out all grainy. All right. Then also discussed inviting a 15-year-old boy member of the FPU to a threesome with a 30-year-old female member of the actual party. So, yeah, wanted to like rope in the youth. I think he was. I think the whole thing with that was he was like trying to seduce her. It was like, okay, what if me and a 15-year-old boy?
Well-known aphrodisiac. I have a 15-year-old boy. When did these revelations come to light? Is this a scandal?
Well, I mean,
Is this just
it's Rome, Athens, Jerusalem, right?
Rome, Athens, Oslo. So when did the scandal come to light? I think the whole scandal, the text messages came out this year, or the year just gone, 2019.
Okay.
The him sending porn thing, I think, was 2018, because he'd been like routinely doing that for a very, very long time. After this came to light, he resigned from the party, but he's still in Parliament as an independent. Now with his own army of staff, mostly consisting of various members of his family who couldn't do anything else, namely nephews, sister-in-laws, weird shit like that, to just be on his staff.
La Familia.
To, I guess, digitally bind the PDF files.
find the porn for him? The
Scout 15-year-old boy. He doesn't have a youth wing to tap into anymore. Where else do you find 15-year-olds? I sent my weird nephew
want
down
400 pages of the hardest core porn and PDF files that you can find on my desk by Monday.
No comments on what kind of porn it was. What is he into?
Hardcore was the only.
Well, I mean, at least it's not like child porn. Like that's at least
Unclear
the only positive.
what hardcore could mean. I
feel like, okay, if it was child porn, they would have said.
No, exactly.
They would have stated hardcore. So there was penetration, I guess. There you go, Rob. You happy?
No, I'm not. I think it's worth pointing out, like you said, that they come through the youth wing. For just that is a particular energy. Like, imagine joining the youth wing of the far right party, and it also cuts against.
You become undesbrevik.
Well, I mean, it cuts against this idea that the people, I know there's a difference between the voters and the people who run the party, but this idea that they're just fed up and they're just filling a void and whatever, attracting disaffected. The disaffected common man. Something about the youth party and going through the ranks since you were a child. These aren't child soldiers, but they're child something. The way that, how they, I don't know.
Right. Next on the cast of characters, we have Tor Mikkel Vara or Vara. I'm not sure how the W is handled. I think it's Vara. Tor Mikkel Vara. So I'm going to show you guys a picture again with visual elements. There you go. That's what he looks like. Pretty bog standard right-wing European politician.
Yeah, very boring.
Yeah, a couple of chins to boot.
Yeah. And his scandal is
he's a bog, all right.
So former Justice Minister Tor Mikkel Vara constantly made big media hay after there was about leftist violence. When his car was attempted to be set on fire, a handful of fires were set on his property.
Oh, didn't he do it himself?
No. Several fires were set on his property. The word racist, I think misspelt in Norwegian, was there was two I's. I kept putting into Google Translate, being like, "Is this the correct Norwegian word?" It doesn't seem to be. When I removed one of the one I's, it came out as racist. Anyway, the word racist was written on his house and car. Lots of drama, lots of media coverage. Turns out it was his wife.
Oh, hell yeah.
He resigned after this. I'm not sure him and his wife are going to make it.
I mean, cool. Is that his only scandal?
Yeah, there's him and his wife. Yeah.
Is she a member of the party, or is she a hero in this?
I don't know. The case is still ongoing, so it's either this is weird, messy divorce, she grew estranged from his politics, or this was all some sort of elaborate ruse.
Yeah.
Or what about maybe she's egging him on that he's not racist enough.
Now, honey, do more racism, or the Peugeot's going on fire.
That's the Norwegian 3 billboards outside Missouri. Be more racist.
All right, small scandal from him. A little bit of a palate cleanser after the fucking 15-year-old boy threesome thing. Because we're going into some real shit now with this one. A guy called Terje Solviknes.
You should just not pronounce the names.
That's basically what I'm doing. That's what I'm basically doing.
Cool. I like the names, Kieran.
Thank you.
You know, as an expert speaker of Norwegian, you're just butchering this beautiful language.
Ah, cool. He looks like Christian Lindner.
Oh hell! Are you sure this isn't him?
So this is like really strange because in some photos he kind of looks all right, like this one here. But then like you get the
That
profile
one he
right
looks
next
like,
to it.
yeah, dude, he has no chin.
He looks like
chin.
Larry Bird with a bad haircut.
He looks like Larry Bird with the haircut of the dude who owns the.
He looks like his Mark Zuckerberg's haircut.
No, who's the guy who owns the Raiders?
Oh yeah, Al Davis.
Yeah,
it's his son, right?
Yeah.
With the haircut.
His son. Okay, but
How old is that guy?
He was born in 1979.
Yeah.
So
he looks about 20 years older, is what I'm saying.
I know what age he is in a certain year. It's relevant. Anyway.
Okay, I got to say, do look up this guy, because like I said, he looks like Christian Lindner.
Yeah.
And, well, yeah, but Norwegian. But the other guys, I will say, like, they look like you said, bog standard. European, like, I don't trust them. But this has, I feel like the... Lovecraftian energy creeping up now.
His lack of chin just makes it just.
Yeah, you've traded
the lights are flickering in here.
Yeah, you've traded your chin for some sort of ungodly power, and I don't like it.
You guys remember to sacrifice to Odin before we started this.
So Vignis is an interesting character because he kind of represents perfectly what the like post. I think I have it here. Where'd it go?
Is he in the youth party?
No. I think he might have come up through the youth party, but he is like standard member. Yeah, he's very post Dol Kesyo, which is the name of the like libertarian split thing that happened. He embodies perfectly their politics, and he's one of the most successful politicians in the party. Vignis was constantly referred to as the Wizard of Os because he was the mayor of a town called Os, and
this is Os.
Yep, this is Os. He basically turned the entire city around. It was like losing money, that it made a lot of money, and.
How did he turn it around?
So he implemented a lot of the like very typical Progress Party stuff of generous kindergarten and senior care programs, even things like subsidized wellness trips to Spain for residents.
Fuck that socialist bullshit. What the fuck?
No. He's post. This is what the party becomes after they kicked out all.
I know. I'm fucking pissed.
Post libertarian.
Yeah.
What? So would you say in general the Progress Party is less of a neoliberal party as the other far-right parties in continental Europe?
It's definitely like that Orban ethno-nationalist, like the piss kind of stuff of just like generalist cash-in-hand programs, but for Poles, Norwegians, Hungarians.
Yeah. Oh, God, that fucking... that pisses me off.
But even that, I mean, I guess we can look into what kind of town
Didn't they read the train book that Ayn Rand wrote about what happens when the government does things? You don't want to be like the what's Mexico called in that book again? Fuck, it literally is called like the Democratic Republic of Mexico or something like that.
Jesus.
Mexico's a communist country.
Nice. But okay, so like even subsidizing trips for people who live in this town to go to Spain so they can get enough sun, like because it's Norway.
Well, yeah, but what I wanted to say was like. I have no idea what the town is, but like the thing in Hungary in a lot of these programs is that they're extremely like they're like they're not for all Hungarians, even if that's the logic. It's a class program and it's very unequal. So I can imagine the same here as in Norway.
Yeah, this town is like on the coast. It's in a fjord. It's like a small town, but I think it makes its money from like tourism, a lot of like hotels, B&Bs, that kind of thing on the coast.
Yeah,
lovely views. So it's pretty well to do, upper middle class, I would say, kind of thing. But hand in hand with this stuff, just OS, yeah. Hand in hand with this stuff, you get this guy also massively defunding refugee and asylum seeker programs in the municipality, like the language courses, the integration courses, like subsidies, shelters, things like that, to go hand in hand with the like programs where he just gives universal coverage for like kindergarten spaces and things like that. It's all very for like family, well-to-do, 2.5 kids, 2 cars in the driveway kind of Norwegian society.
Yeah.
Right. So he gets this title, Wizard of Oz. He's like a celebrity within the party. He moves past municipal politics and becomes like vice co-chair of the party under Henson, and he's the same rank as the person who's like now the leader of the party. But in 2001, while mayor of Os and vice chair of the party, He, 31, rapes a 16-year-old member of the youth wing at a party conference. She was very, very drunk. She ended up traumatized and in hospice. Cases resulted in no charges. Was then appointed oil and energy minister in 2016, served until 2018. The victim eventually called him out again once the Me Too movement happened. But again, facing no consequences, he just retires from politics to say he wants to spend more time with his family. And as you saw from the pictures, not a particularly old man. Not very early to retire.
Yeah, so I was asking about the timeline because I know the Me Too movement was, big everywhere, but especially in Norway. So it was known before that too.
Yeah.
And people were just like, well,
we'll get into some of the tactics because I'll go into some similar cases here, but it's, I wouldn't be surprised if it had the status of open secret kind of shit. But it was definitely resurfaced. She got a platform again. I saw coverage of this in 2000, articles from 2001. It wasn't the news, but she got another kind of boost again when the Me Too movement made a lot of other media people pay attention to this situation again. In a similar case, the vice chairman of the youth wing, the FPU, Christian Elitzen, has sexually assaulted 2 members of the youth wing when he was 20, one girl who was 16, another who was 13. He told the 16-year-old to forget about it. As far as I know, he hasn't faced any charges. In another similar case, in 2003, Kim Kjølner, leader of the Oslo youth wing branch, had been confronted by the police with raping the FPU member Catherine Rustuen. Again, no charges. Yeah. So...
getting kind of sad.
Yeah, the youth wing is deeply upsetting.
This is definitely taking a turn.
Yeah, for sure. To kind of illustrate all this kind of stuff, the current leader of the whole party itself, the head honcho, the successor to Hansen, is Siv Jensen. She lied about Sovnikne's incident before all the details were released. Kind of thing. She kind of flat out denied, say, he's a good man, he's the Wizard of Oz or whatever. And this is probably the most insidious thing I found with the victim of the last case in 2003, the youth wing member, Catherine Rustuen. She, Siv Jensen, the leader of the party, personally rang her up and told her that she had betrayed the party by coming to the police with this, and all the men in the party harassed her on the phone basically after this came out. So that's the kind of party structure of this thing. So yeah. Also, one of them was 13.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just, to all the, I don't know what to say. I do want to say, you think, and they're still, doing pretty well. Despite this fucking howling snake pit of abuse, all of the... I mean, we've talked about...
this was all while they were in opposition.
Yeah.
They're now in the government.
We've talked before about how, it's a simple conservative thing to, pass off problems of, patriarchy and things onto, from white conservative Europeans onto, whatever, immigrants, migrants of any kind. But then here you just have, already, the long, fucking violent... rape culture of Europe just intensified, it's through a magnifying glass and just burning, and they're still doing well.
Yep.
This is second or third every year.
Yeah,
just that's politics, baby.
So the other thing is that they're coupling taking this understanding of how their party operates and how they treat the youth wing of their party, which seems to be their personal harem, as they take all this information with the fact that they constantly campaign on the state of Sweden. Siv Jensen, the current leader of the party, has visited Rinkeby, which is a notorious neighborhood in Stockholm because it has a high immigrant population, and they do the whole
the Paul Joseph Watson thing.
Yeah. But they do the whole refugees dog whistling or just outright saying it kind of thing of we can't let people in because they're going to rape all of us. That's not meant to happen. We're meant to do that. So it's that weird, horrifying dynamic. So that's upsetting. but I do have a palate cleanser.
All other, the establishment politicians aren't pedophiles. That's
no,
good. Is that the palate cleanser?
They've all been successfully funneled into this party. This is the Norwegian system.
I do want to say one thing, like maybe this is like pedantic, but like what's funny about the Wizard of Oz is that like, so they're like, he's a magician. Like, how did he do this? Like, he's just a political genius. When really he's just like what you can do in politics. You can sacrifice and brutalize a handful of people to make some people, usually the rich or a small,
people who vote
whatever,
for you.
the wealthy, the people who vote, like you make them a lot better off. Here you can just widen that like, little group slightly, and then it just seems like you're doing magic, but like you're not doing magic. There's nothing magical about it. No. You're just taking all the resources that we have as, fucking on the world and being like, oh, what is this? What did I find under here? More stuff for us. Now and then it's distributing it a little more. What's funny about that is that they call him a magician who's just like, no one's been able to do this when it's just staring in front of our face. It's the fucking resources of society that that we produce that are being allocated, that are being accumulated by a certain group of people. What's funny about that is it does mirror like the story of the Wizard of Oz, right? Because the Wizard of Oz is like, who is this magical wizard running things? And like behind the curtain, it's nothing, right? Yeah. It's just like
you had the courage all along. You had the resources to do this all along,
right in front of you. Yeah. So good name, good nickname. Good. Tough to come up with an accurate nickname.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. A lot of poetic irony in that. I like that. All right, I have 2 cast of characters left, and I swear to God, neither of them are bummers. So
you promised, Kieran.
I did promise. All right. So remember that Iran connection I made earlier?
Yeah.
This next cast in the cast of characters is one Maziar Keshbari. Right. Traditional Norwegian name.
Finally a name that we can all pronounce.
We can all pronounce, yes. All right, so as you can probably guess from his name, Iranian born, he moved to Norway when he was like 6. Again, family was friends to the Shah, moved in 1989. One of the most vocal anti-immigrant, anti-refugee, anti-asylum seeker members of the party. But friends of the Shah. In 20...
Literally every time he's thrown out of a party, he's like, I know the Shah!
I know this. Do you know who I am? Interesting you should say that.
That's what I say. I mean, it works for me at the parties, so I figured it worked for him. He actually knows the Shah.
In 2019, he was convicted of aggravated fraud.
He didn't know the Shah?
No, don't worry. That dream is still alive. But for defrauding the Norwegian Parliament and sentenced to 7 months in prison for pocketing money from false business expenses. Here we get into 2014.
Classic Norway. I mean, I believe this podcast supports prison abolition. Good old Norway, 7 months. I mean, I forgot I looked up Anders Breivik. He's in prison for 21 years?
Yeah, that's a life sentence in Norway. And in Germany as well, that's a life sentence.
Back to Keshbari. In 2014, he made death threats against a NRK, so like public broadcaster, debate moderator in a pub.
Why won't you debate me?
Why won't you debate me? I'm a moderator. Debate me. And then in 2019, though, he was arrested for drunkenly threatening a person with a gun. So that's the kind of energy he was bringing.
Are there a lot of guns in Norway?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's kind of
it's like the one low-key, like Switzerland, they got a lot of guns?
Kind of. It's a bit more like American culture. Once you go north, it's like we're in the untamed wilderness. We need to have our guns. Last little thing I should say about Keshbari, because it sets up for our last guy, is he's your typical, as you Americans would be very familiar with, the typical kind of like, the Iran crank. The kind of like constant guy who's insisting it's a global threat. It's going to take over the world. It's basically the current Third Reich, contemporary Third Reich. He just did that on TV all the time, and he was like, "I'm from there. I know. I'm friends with the Shah."
They founded the Labour Party of Norway.
But then we get into our last little guy, because this guy is, as far as I can tell, he's just their gaff guy, their foibles guy, He's the bit in the Three Stooges where they get stuck in the door constantly. He's just that guy.
Sick.
And it's the last one I learned about, but it's Per Sandberg. He was the Minister of Fisheries just before, which is important.
Already a hilarious title.
It's important in Norway. It's important in Norway.
I understand. No, fish, very important. Yeah. I understand. But just running the fisheries, like you just wake up in the morning, you look outside. I just imagine salmon. Just like you look at all the salmon hopping, and you're like,
it's all in order.
Yeah, everything's great. It's not in order, actually. The salmon are in trouble around the world, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, not if you put me at the head of the
salmon are like fucking bugs, where they're like, 80% of the population has died. Sorry. This is bad news, but we don't know what else to say.
You'd be surprised how many countries have like departments of fisheries.
Yeah.
I noticed that when I
it's just a funny concept.
It is bizarre. There were so many of them.
What, is someone the head of beef?
Yeah, no, because it'd be like agriculture, right, or whatever. Yeah. But there was literally a separate section in our database at my last like job that I had for a long time. For fisheries, there's so many there's such a big demand for this shit in Europe. I guess
that was that show. It was a Netflix show, Designated Survivor, where
have you seen the show?
I have seen that show. Yeah,
this is one of the classic. I consider it a German phenomenon.
Isn't that literally just the plot of Battlestar Galactica?
Is it?
It literally is
okay.
Battlestar Galactica starts the exact same way that
for anyone who doesn't know what Designated Survivor is, it's an American show.
Yeah,
it stars your lad from 24. Who I've forgotten the name of, but basically the whole
Kiefer Sutherland,
that's it. Yeah, it becomes like a weird drama mixed with West Wing thing, but the general plot is he's the designated survivor, which is a real thing. When the State of the Union happens, they have to pick one guy in the government being like, if we all die because they blew up the State of the Union, you're in charge of everything. And he is
damn illegalists.
Yeah, and he's the fisheries guy. So it is sick. Just an entire series of Kiefer Sutherland plays the head of fisheries in charge of the US. It's great.
Yeah, because that's literally the first episode of Battlestar Galactica starts the exact same way that they're all on what's the planet's name? I forget. The Cylons attack, destroy the planet, and then the only person of the cabinet who's left alive is the head of the Department of Education.
Yeah.
And then that goes on for 6 seasons or however long that show went on for.
Fair enough.
But it's very violent, and then it just turns into a normal West Wing show. We got to solve the problems today. They're like, yeah, all these people died. I mean, the other way to look at it is
so actually,
shut up. But it's just a very violent concept that all these people died, even if they're all all the powerful pedophiles in the world who are ruining your life specifically. But
to be very fair, probably the least. I mean, who's the head of the Department of Fisheries in the United States?
Grand Torino pedophile.
Well, then you know what,
Johnny pedophile.
I was about to say maybe he's not the worst, but then again, that is always just one of those positions that's oh well, you're evil, so here's your comical mustache, and here's a department for you.
Oh god, but I have so much to say about that show that I watched 3 episodes of. Anyway, so Per Sandberg, back to this guy. Minister of Fisheries, right? Which we've successfully lampooned this whole designation within the government.
It's just a cool name. Aurelia Skipwith. Where is she? She's it's Fish and Wildlife Service, so maybe it's all.
So, after lampooning the fisheries ministry, right? Well, I'm glad to tell you, Rob, he got a promotion to Minister of Justice.
Nice.
All of these people were at some point, I guess. But yeah, general foibles guy. He makes a lot of dumb things. All right. Dumb thing number 1 that he's done. At a party, he fought an asylum seeker.
What?
Yeah. He got into a fight with an asylum seeker, which was described as, according to the... it was described as, where it came out as aggressive basketball.
Wait.
I didn't get any more than that.
No. Back up. What does that mean?
I don't know.
The fight was aggressive basketball.
Yes.
They were just dunking on each other.
The hoop was your head.
I think that's lost in translation because as the head of ministries, his fight attack is like a Magikarp. Like he just kind of flops. And they're like, it was like basketball.
I just don't
Norwegian,
think.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, are there any
It's
players?
very French Norwegian.
They were.
Is he asylum
We've
seeker?
had too many French people in our country.
They were playing basketball.
What? That is coming up later. I love this guy. All right. So importantly, after having the fight with the basketball player, asylum seeker, the aggressive basketball.
I think that's a code for like hip hop style like, refugees. You know, they play basketball.
These Iranian basketball players who are too urban. Okay. So after he cools down a bit at the
I'm
park,
just imagining that being like the stereotype of like of Greek Australians who get like souped up fucking Hondas and shit and wear too many chains, but in Norway.
Yeah. So after he cooled down a bit at the party, the asylum seeker is still there, and he literally does the trailer park boy meme and then offers him money to go away and never talk about this because he may have just realized that getting into a fight with an asylum seeker was probably not politically good optics.
Or for his party, like really good optics.
Yeah, right? Well, if he won, I don't know.
I mean, depends how good he is at one-on-one. But
this came out years later in a biography.
It worked.
Called my struggle.
I think it might have been called that. I think it was called like Governing Alone or something like that. But it's a biography, not an autobiography of Per Sandberg. But this means Per Sandberg did just tell the author. And then when this came out, he was fined €300 for being like, why did you fight a person? For bribing the person, I think was what he was charged with.
Again, fines, like legal fines, bad. Expropriating all wealth, good.
Yes.
Don't half-ass it.
Wait, what are these like wimpy ass fines that they get too? Like they're always like, oh, you broke the law. €50.
€300, which is the price of a sandwich in Norway.
You could buy either a beer, or you could pay a fine. Pick one.
All right. So while Minister for Transport, which he was at one point, he claimed that Norwegian roads are so good it's fine to drink drive on them.
That's a great line.
He went and demonstrated it, right?
Almost. He was then caught speeding 100 kilometers per hour in a 60 kilometer zone. So yeah,
it's just so smooth. That's a good flex.
The ice just you collide.
Yeah, they're great roads.
Great roads. I drive better when I'm drunk on Norwegian roads. All right. He said, remember earlier with the whole like...
I like how 100 kilometers an hour, though, isn't actually that fast. It's like 60 miles an hour. Like, he still wasn't going fast. He was going like below the normal highway speed in Germany.
It's like a 60 kilometer zone. So where was he? Like a children's like playground or something? Doing donuts? I don't know.
Too fast, too furious.
Too fast, too furious. I drive much better when the roads are Norwegian. All right. So he said, if we cast your mind back to earlier in this episode, he said of the Riga FRP, like Progress Party members paying for sex scandal, that this is the best sex scandal the FRP has had. Which, considering the rest of them, yeah.
Yeah, that one's like G rating compared to everything else.
Yeah.
It's also like a real Donald Trumpism. Like we have the. I mean, okay, I'm a little unqualified to speak on Norwegian politics, but I'm just gonna. The impression I'm getting, is that because I asked myself, like, all right, this is a howling, like, violent snake pit. Like, why did they get elected? And the answer that makes sense is like, well, they all are. They're just more upfront about it or more extreme about it, you know?
Yeah.
And in that sense, you know, they're just like, hey, you know, but we got funnier sex scandals, you know? Yeah, vote for us.
Have you seen this Per Sandberg guy? All right. Related to the drink driving thing, after being drunk in Parliament, he's quoted as saying, "Those who claim that I was drunk or drunk are probably my political opponents." who have completely different agendas.
Yep.
You should take breathalyzer tests of the entire parliament room instead of just hanging me out to dry.
During Parliament. I mean, to be fair, maybe they're drinking a bit. That's also what I said to the bouncer when I got kicked out of the techno club last weekend.
They're all drunk in there. All right.
I'm about to ask, which club did you get kicked out of? But that's not true.
Per Sandberg believes that Islam is the fastest growing religion in Europe and probably the fastest growing violent ideology. He believes comics of Muhammad is the best way to combat it.
Wait, what?
Comics of Muhammad is the best way to combat Islam.
What the fuck is wrong with these people? Like, all right, you believe that like this, I never understand this. It's like you believe that like, oh damn, like there's this thing that then is really violent that's taking over the world. And what's the thing that makes the most extreme elements really mad? Is this, which like isn't a thing actually ever. Like previously in Islam, it wasn't a thing. Like you could draw Muhammad, it wasn't a problem. But now, like I don't know, the last like 30 years, it's become like a big taboo. Yeah, and they're like, this makes them really mad. Let's keep doing it, Which I mean, like to be fair, if they all end up like what's his name in the Netherlands, and that's
Keith
fine.
Wilders.
Yeah, no, the one who was stabbed to death.
Oh right.
Like if they want that, I don't get this. It's like, oh, we don't want Sharia Norway, but at the same time we want the thing that will piss off the most extreme elements of Salafism.
Yeah.
We want that right at our doorstep. So like pick one. Do you want it or do you not want it? Like you can't do both.
Speaking of Geert Wilders, though, you reminded me of his brilliant tactic, which was he hosted a Muhammad drawing competition.
I get that they have that fucking dipshit, like, this is freedom of speech, baby. Yeah. But the thing that they're most afraid of is being killed by someone for doing these dumb fucking pictures. And it's like
roller coasters for them.
I get it that it's like a thrill, but it's like, what then happens when you do get stabbed in public by, the guy?
No matter, you're dead.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think, you're going to become a martyr, or is it literally like you just didn't have to do that? Like you did not have to draw Muhammad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to downplay it because I mean the reactionary parties across Europe, like it can be the dynamics of fascism, but it is this like back and forth of like what are they going to do other than like the brutal, like systematic, like whatever you want to call it, bureaucratic violence that they can do, and like even like spectacular events like that Anders Breivik shooting, or like things that the ideology inspires. Every day it's sort of like they're telling them like, vote for us, we're going to like a great blood will come and we will be victorious. But then they get into government, that's fucking parliament. What do? They're like, oh, we got to keep them busy. Like, yeah, we're
March 12th is draw Muhammad.
Yeah, we're going to draw Muhammad. Yeah, that gets us all riled up, right? I mean, it kind of shows the disconnect, right, between like the rhetoric and what they can actually do.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild too, especially because of exactly the point of Anders Breivik, is that like Europe, and this is a problem in Germany too, that then like doesn't get spoken of enough, is that like right wing terror in Europe has killed significantly more people than any terror in the name of Islam or whatever. And I mean, Anders Breivik literally murdered 70 people in one day, like in a matter of a couple of hours on an island that no one could fucking get to. And like also there was a car bomb. Like it was a massively well thought out plan.
Yeah. And one lad.
Yeah, one dude. Absolutely wild that's never actually like addressing right wing extremism is never like clearly not big in a problem if this party is still very much
running wild.
Yeah, just like, and in Europe, I mean, in Germany, it's the same thing too. Of like, what are the? I think within the last 10 years, there have been 100 and no, not 10 years. I don't know. I saw an article from Catapult the other day. It had the instances of left-wing and right-wing murders. The left-wing instance was like 5. Yeah. I think this is like the last 50 years, actually. Yeah. and right-wing murders, like murders that were initiated by right-wing extremists, just of like political things. This isn't normal people. Was it like 150?
Yeah.
Not even to mention on top of that too, like all the refugee centers that have been burned down by Nazis and shit like that.
Yeah.
The NSU murders are not counted in these either, and stuff like that.
Well, that kind of like leads to what the problem is with all of this, which is the like mechanisms that the liberal consensus would use to stop the stuff is like on the side.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you can't utilize the police or army because going back to the funny man, because I want to stress that this guy in this party is, compared to the rest of them, largely harmless.
He's a big goofball.
He's a big old goofball. I just realized we haven't actually looked at a picture of him yet. Oh,
yeah,
no. Sorry. There will be a photo series.
Actually, he looks like Pee Wee Herman.
There will...
Norwegian Pee Wee Herman.
You're not far off. But there will be a slideshow at the end. I'll probably put this link in the description so people can watch along at home. But, all right. So, as alluded to what Rob said earlier, Rob with his like ability to like cast his eye into the future and see what's coming next, he's made anti-Bulgarian, anti-Romanian, anti-French comments stating that there's too many of them and they disturb the order and often commit crimes.
So French?
The French are a real problem in Norway.
The French, okay, here's my Norwegian accent. The French, they are like the crooked Tetris piece. They do not fit into Norwegian society. This is what I sound like. Now I am Russian.
I am the Per Sandberg.
Norway is approximately halfway between the France and Russia. That sounds like this.
You fly like an idiot. All right. But okay, so that's... He's a goofball. It kind of sounds like the way this comment is, like this piece of information is phrased. He was doing the very typical, like, I don't know, 2004, 2007, like anti-Eastern European sentiment that was. But then he was like, I have to throw in a French person to like.
Is that an What about France? What about it? Do you say?
No, they disturb the order and often commit crimes.
Huh.
Yeah.
As in fashion crimes, they dress too damn well for the Norwegians.
Why aren't they wearing like several layers of very practical parka coats?
They're just wearing turtlenecks and they just smoke too much. Oh, that could literally be it, because Norway has really strict cigarette. Like, you can't smoke in public in Norway. They could just be smoking everywhere. Like, that's it.
Yeah, maybe.
They throw garlic everywhere.
Oh yes, the things that Norwegians are deathly allergic to,
because they're vampires. All right, and here's your big Per Sandberg. This is what actually caused him to resign. In August 2018, Per Sandberg went on holiday to Iran with his
with who?
With his Norwegian-Iranian girlfriend, who was 28 years old, A1. Bahara Letnes. He was recently estranged from his wife, so no one knew when this was first revealed that she was his girlfriend. It was just this 28-year-old woman he went to Iran with.
How old is he?
Oh, not 28.
Nice.
Wait. So then, why did he get kicked out?
No,
he resigned.
Just for going to Iran?
No, he resigned after this. This is the beginning. This is the beginning.
That's what I'm saying. I'm eager.
So you have to. Okay, this is a slow rollout in news in Norway.
Okay.
At the first thing they know is he's gone to Iran.
I see. It's unfolded.
There's
like
a
Mark
girl
Sanford.
with him. We thought he was married. All right.
He sounds like a pimp.
He later revealed he didn't notify the Prime Minister's office or any security in advance.
Oh, sorry, I'm just going to Iran.
He was constantly criticized for his lack of security by the Keshbari guy in particular.
Sorry, this just sounds like a coke idea. They're just like him and like this 28-year-old just did a shit ton of coke. Like, you know what's a great fucking idea? Like tomorrow morning we're just gonna get up. We're just gonna go. We're gonna go to Iran.
He was criticized by the Keshbari guy, whose whole stick is like Iran's evil, for his lack of security, using his government phone for government business several times while he was there. As far as I know, they just like blew up the phone when he got back, being like, "This could be compromised. What are you doing, you idiot?" Yeah, using his phone for the government business while he was there. Other weird thing is his new girlfriend is like heavily involved in exporting seafood. This is when he's like,
oh yeah, we're back to the fish.
So it could have been like a business thing. Mm-hmm. Like, we want to set up fish trade with Iran. Here's this woman who speaks like fucking goddamn it.
You know Farsi. What? Everyone's hating on me, but I follow one rule, the rule of the stream. You know, the water. I just go where the stream goes. That's how I live my life. I don't listen to the haters. Hashtag fish. Hashtag think like a fish. Hashtag Dory. Hashtag feeling like Dory.
Hashtag my dad was a salmon. All right.
Yeah. Do you go against the stream or with the stream?
Damn, got me for like Norwegian Dory.
You could do it both ways.
He is very Norwegian Dory. Like, he definitely has that like level of intelligence for sure. He kept also, the other thing that pissed off the Keshbari guy who like drunkenly attacked someone with a gun later is he kept.
Wait, what?
You know, he was the last character.
The last character, yeah.
I forgive you. They blend together. There's a lot of.
But like, Per Sandberg kept pissing this guy off because constantly when this like scandal was coming out, he'd be interviewed, he'd be on like panel shows, and his like defense he would always come back to is like, it's a beautiful country. I had a great time.
It is a beautiful country.
Yeah. But this was like this weird. He kept talking about how great Iran was, but this led to this weird, protracted like media storm in Norway, like a complete shit show. So he then eventually decided it would be best if he stepped down because he was like basically, you know, ruining the image of this party.
I want to spend more time with my first love, Iran. Honestly, it's a great thing to resign for. He supports. He's anti-imperialist.
I respect him too. Like, he also I assume now lives in Iran and is a leading official in the Iranian Revolutionary Guard.
So he's
a commander of the communist dolphins.
Yes, the fish connection. You walk into a dark like room, a single lit like lamp over a table, and he's on the other side, casting shadows. Like, the thing they do not know about dolphins, actually fish. Smoking a cigarette. Okay, but the first thing he basically does after resigning is, during this whole scandal, it is confirmed that is his girlfriend. He's estranged from his wife. He has a 28-year-old girlfriend.
Yeah, I just want to confirm I fucked. Okay, make sure that was on the record.
Yeah. I don't know what this Keshbari guy is on about, because when I was in Iran, I got the business. Anyway. The first thing he does basically after this whole thing resigned, and he steps down from politics, whatever. I think he's retiring to spend more time with his first love, the Ayatollah. And fish, I guess. But he does a photo shoot with this like kind of right-wingy gossipy mag. And I'd like us to look through the photos now, because it's great. So
First time seeing this guy. Maybe you've already checked him out.
I know, right?
He's at home.
This is what Norwegian looks like.
I'm jealous.
But here he is.
Oh, nice.
With his 28-year-old girlfriend, like, resting.
Dude, how the fuck is like that? What is that couple? What the fuck is this? Holy shit! I'm genuinely offended.
I can honestly say they look like they would never say, and like if they were just two people on the street, you'd be like, they have nothing to do with each other.
No, I was expecting
they're just walking at the same pace.
Yeah, they're just like. That's
my
weird,
God.
like weird synchronicity.
They're accidentally holding hands. Yeah, okay.
Like not for any, like not even for a particular age. I mean, I guess it's accumulation of things, but it's not even like just like the age or like whatever racial or anything. They just look like two completely different people.
No, it is.
You are my son's new girlfriend.
Yeah. I mean, what
he looks like a principal, and she's in like a student. Yeah.
Yeah, she is 28. She's very young looking 28-year-old.
This is the thing, though, is that then also too, like, okay, yeah, the age difference is like obvious and very weird, but like the thing, like he just looks like a blob. Like he like there is no feature of him that then is like not even like, okay, I can understand that then how she'd be attracted to him. Like he's like, you know, a handsome older guy. No, he's featureless. Like literally does not have a single feature.
What age are we guessing this man is?
I'm saying like 62.
No, he's 54.
So if we're going by Price is Right rules, unfortunately it's Rob. He's 59, but I think you were closest.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wait, no, wait. Me or Rob?
Rob wins because you get the closest to the number without going over.
Oh, okay.
Price is
Fuck.
Right
God,
rules.
fuck the Price is Right. I hate this shit. I was 3 years off. I'm actually closer.
Yeah.
What are you laughing about?
Garrett's just like 59, and without missing a beat, you're like, nice. That's the wrong number.
This broke Rob. And I'm so glad to reveal to you guys now there's more photos.
Excellent.
All right, so this is the first one. She's just,
I'm happy for them, you know?
They're
It's beautiful that these two
genu-
people who I never think would say anything to each other
I kind
are
of
doing a photo shoot.
This could be his redemption arc. He might learn that there's like a moderate form of Islam or whatever. And like he just, I don't know. Maybe he'll just be the goofy guy who drives drunks exclusively on Norwegian roads. Like he'll stop at the Swedish border and be like, I have to turn around. I'm too drunk to drive on their shitty roads.
I don't trust your roads. It's only Norwegian
Okay,
roads.
keep going with the
Keep
pictures.
keep going.
Yeah.
Next image. Her smiling.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, please, I do not want him see him smile. He's not smiling.
Stoic.
Next image
Stoic.
is him not smiling. That's too stoic. He looks like he's about to smile.
It looks like he is holding in a fart.
No, you're right. He does.
All right, next image. Him burning a Norwegian newspaper with his lovely new girlfriend.
What is the newspaper?
Just some, I don't know. Just
That's a cool. That's nice framing and everything. It's very poetic.
It's a very professional shoot.
But I wonder if there's a meaning to like which newspaper they're burning. Like it's
It's the liberal press.
Yeah, it's
in general because it looks like an.
It's Sharia Weekly.
But it looks like a tabloid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
but all press is
what's
like,
it called? No, not a broadsheet. A tabloid. You know.
It is
like,
a tabloid. Yeah, I don't know. The Norwegian papers could just look like that. Anyway, there she is. There she is holding it inflamed while carrying a copy of his book.
Like the fucking Olympic torch.
Yep.
I'm getting like real 1936 Germany Olympics vibes here.
It's very Statue of Liberty.
No. Oh, now they're getting fucking buck.
Yeah, here they
God
are with
damn.
some rosé, I guess. He's drinking out of the bottle because he's a bit
king.
kooky. He's a bit kooky. Dressed in all black, I should say. For this.
Oh, but Norwegians don't wear any other colors.
I think this next image is the one that I particularly enjoy.
Go.
Oh.
Hell yeah. They're both giving a Hitler salute.
They are both dabbing. They're both dabbing.
Honestly, the European dab, which I should clarify that this is the European dab, is honestly not that far off from Hitler's.
Oh yeah, no.
Because just as important. I don't know how this morphed over time. I mean, didn't like.
I'm afraid to dab in Germany. It'd be misconstrued as.
Well, the dab,
the arm has to be fully extended, and the angle of the other arm you're not, or that you're like. Which half is the dabbing? The other half of the dab.
Which part is the dab?
Yeah, no. And the European one, is
if
like.
If a dab were a dab, would it be like this? Or?
If a dab chuck could dab chuck.
Yeah, but no, the way that Europeans do it is that they'll have their one hand
rigid.
Yeah, extended outwards like that.
Now niggas doing a Hitler salute.
And then the other one in this.
They basically don't match the angles between the two arms.
No, they're opposite, and that's why it looks like a Hitler salute because they literally have the one hand out straight and the other one like
Nick just got fined €10 by the Norwegian government for doing a Hitler salute.
I don't think it's a crime in Norway.
No.
My only beef with the European dab is that the dab is like a dance move in the whatever at the end of the beat, whatever you do something. But it's not it's just kind of wave it's basically like dancing like you're one of the blow up men outside the car dealership, you're like, oh, but something about when you just do it as a meme, it's just you're just I don't know, it's like you're entering a straitjacket. It's like, oh, I got to do the thing, and then you do it in just this one way.
I am
not a fan, but
it
adds to their story, and honestly, it makes them more real. I can really picture them.
I'm making the corner Späti point that you can dab whenever you want, just do it properly.
Yeah,
You
don't have to do the full arm fully extended.
No.
The dab is just
the problematic.
You
part
can even
of
just. You can even just.
exactly. You can just get rid of the problematic.
You can
part.
just
don't do the problematic part until you are a trained professional dabber. I keep my dabbing locked in a safe.
I don't let my kids around my dabs.
Always have a spotter when you dab.
Yeah, safety on when you dab.
You don't want to be like these two.
Yeah, right.
All right, keep going.
Keep going with the photos.
What are their shoes, by the way? What's she wearing? Uggs?
Jordans.
I think she's wearing Uggs.
Wait, no, is she wearing Uggs? That'd be even better.
So.
Wait, go up.
They look like it, like black Uggs.
They got a bit of a platform to it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they look like. I mean, Uggs are usually light colored, but they have the same chunkiness.
Also, like, wait 1 second. What is she wearing? Like,
It looked good, like velvet.
yeah, but like she's
Classy.
wearing a dress, and then is wearing like boots with foot warmers over them. Like, at least he has like just jeans on and normal.
It's cold.
Like,
It's cold in Norway.
It's
It is. Yeah, it is cold.
That's what I learned in my research. All right, so that's
I got to pass on that outfit.
I support
in
that.
Ava Magazine's shit or hit. It is.
Yeah, it is that outfit is shit.
Yeah. Now him in a headscarf.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, a little bit of a headscarf. He's also has a very strange face. Eyes closed, like slightly
He looks
puckering.
like in a movie that like Anthony Hopkins would play.
He does look like kind of Anthony Hopkins in this.
That face looks like the face of like, I know I'm about to get hit in the face, but I'm trying to pretend I'm not flinching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Whoa. Oh, yeah.
She
Facts.
bagged herself a man.
Maroon.
Sis. Facts. That's
Yeah.
facts.
So this is her with a fishing rod attached to his jacket, Nick dabbed correctly. Look at that gold ring on his finger.
I hope he got that.
Doesn't
gold
seem like
ring
very
in
good.
Iran.
What
is she? What the fuck is this next one?
I-
She's a detective.
one more comment on the last one. I know he's a man of fish, so he knows. And
I didn't even get. Oh shit! Oh yeah. No.
And she's bad. Like that's bad form. Like,
Yeah,
she's not holding
we're almost
on.
at 2 hours, by the way.
He's a big fish, and she is not holding on properly. She's not prepared to. Is she left-handed? Is she gonna, is she gonna reel in with her left hand? Bad form.
Next photo, black and white. She's dressed as someone from fucking Casablanca.
Yeah.
He's
Oh my god, I hate this.
looking past her. She's got
Wow.
a bag.
Some noir.
Them
Oh
kissing.
no, this is horrible.
That's like a New Money family portrait.
Yeah.
In the hallway kind of
Well, I
thing.
mean, Norway is the country of new money.
It is.
It not?
Yeah. It used to be just all fucking weird fishermen, sheep farmers.
Yeah.
And that's
Respect the glow up. What are the top comments?
it. Norwegian. It's all
Damn.
Norwegian.
Damn, you guys look so great. I will. I love the Ayatollah too.
So that's my intro. And a comprehensive look, I must say, at the Progress Party.
Yeah, most of that was just looking at pictures at the end.
It was great, though.
I like the pictures.
I did too. I'm not
Really
gonna lie.
quick, I just want to clarify for the political context. They entered the coalition in
13.
2013.
Yeah.
Ahead of the curve.
2 elections.
And they were voted out, or they broke up the coalition?
They broke up the coalition themselves
Yeah.
because the head of the coalition repatriatized someone who
that
might
one.
be from
Yeah,
ISIS.
yeah. And she, the current prime minister of Norway, that she's still the prime minister, and she was then.
She's from she's from Conservative Party.
Yeah, no, but I mean, wasn't she the prime minister when the last coalition dissolved, and she still is?
She's she's still prime minister. There's a minority government now.
She's the one. But she was the one who repatriated the woman. Yeah.
So
That's Norway, folks.
that is Norway. Holy shit! It was rough there in the middle when we started going through all the like horrible sex stuff, but Per Sandberg came one out in the end. He genuinely seems like a somewhat lovable figure.
No, he doesn't. I don't get that vibe at all. He seems disgusting, and I hate him.
That's fair.
He's kind of nice with it, I gotta say.
I think just hearing after, I think in the context of everything else, my standard of what is a good person has possibly changed. But yeah, Progress Party.
The only redeemable thing of him is his love of Iran.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. I want his struggle. I'll have what he's struggling with.
Fish. On that note,
Yeah.
we will see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Peace.